Welcome to Collaborative Computing course. In this presentation, we'll be talking about computer-supported collaborative work. But first, a review of course objectives. These are the 7 objectives that are listed in our course syllabus. For this presentation, we'll be addressing the first objective. So what is computer-supported cooperative work? So the definition is when 2 or more people come together to do something using various computer tools to get the job done using computer-mediated communication. Well, that's one long sentence, but what does it mean? It means that when 2 people come together, they form a team. So we have a team that is doing something together, so they have a collaborative aspect. And they're using various computer tools, so they're using a team of tools. So we have a team of people, team of tools, similar goal, and they're using computer-mediated communication. That means they're using tools to communicate to get this job done. So here's a diagram that kind of captures all that. It's that with our current global workspace, we have teams that are formed that are not in the different state, not even in the different country or continent. So that has really changed the dynamic and the scope of our workspaces. So we have 2 types of communications, synchronous and asynchronous. So, and also those happen within remote and co-located or on-site spaces. So face-to-face interactions are happening when you are sitting across a person in a synchronous manner. And then in this asynchronous part of that is when you have a continuous task, that is, you are collaborating with people within a server space or within a shared document or shared project. And then in the synchronous remote work, this is where you have conferencing, where you're talking with people with video conferences or chats. And then the asynchronous part of that is communication and coordination using various communication tools. So, but all these come together within this time and workspace because, as I mentioned, your teammate may not be in the same state or country you're in. Therefore, you have this continuous work or continuous workspace. While you're sleeping, somebody is working. Somebody in China or India is working on your project, and when they're sleeping, you're working on it. So we have this continuum of and continuity of a project that didn't happen before. So we are going to briefly look at the history and trends of computer-supported cooperative work. And the history is that this term came in the 1980s from Irene and Paul, and they were investigating and bringing together a lot of previous research and this need to automate the workspace. Because back in the 80s, we were still back in snail mail and email and phone calls, and all those things create this the latency of information. Like when you send an email, you have to wait for the other person to open it and read it, digest it, create a response, and send it back. And so there was this need for automation. So now we are pretty much automated. There's a lot of technologies out there that have achieved that automation goal. But now we are facing the challenge of adaptation because this global space, as I mentioned, brings a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, and a lot of different mindsets. So therefore, we are trying to bring this work in this space where you are bringing together different people for a common goal. And within that, we have the scope of work, and the scope of work is also defined by the definition of the word work. For example, in United States, most Americans view what they do as who they are, is that the work becomes their identity. But in most cultures, like work is this means to an end. That means I work to provide for my family. Therefore, it is not my identity, and I don't view it that way. So when you're in America, if your work is your identity, it is this idea of pushing the limits and and just doing the work and to get it as fast as done as fast, as efficiently and as effectively as possible, regardless of the time and effort put in it. Whereas on the other side of the world, your teammate may have this outlook of, I just go to work, I work for 6 hours and I go home. I don't have to think about it till tomorrow morning when I come back to work. And when I come back to work, you're sleeping. So there is that challenge that still exists. And then there is this adaptation of technologies. There are a million technologies out there that can solve, that are geared towards solving similar problems. So which technologies to adapt, how much to spend on it, how much to budget for it, whether an organization is big or small, that also has become a challenge, because then the workforce has to keep being updated on the new technologies that are coming up, and then figuring out how they're going to adapt them and get the people to respond and to take in and learn and process that new technology. So these are the some of the 10 things that we just talked about. We have talked about the aspect of time and space and interaction, group size, the size of your team, infrastructure, how much your company, how large or small, and how much it can accommodate. Context. This is why your company exists, and how that affects people in different cultures. Privacy of information, both yours and your customers, the people you're serving. Collaborator mobility is how flexible are they? Are you able to wake up at 3 a.m. and have a conference call with somebody in China? Can you move around? Extensibility is how far do you extend your technologies, your people, your scope, your cultural adaptation. And participant selection. Who is it that is working with you? What technologies work with you? So all these things are huge in trying to filter down. Now we are in this culture of being overwhelmed by technology and information. So now how do we take all that and filter it down to something that is specifically for the job that we're trying to do? So as Lombardi said, individual commitment to a group effort, this is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, and a civilization work. And that is really true, because anytime you include another person or another technology in your space, it becomes complicated. And it requires a huge amount of commitment and effort as a person and as a group to achieve your goals. Therefore, a clearly defined goal is very important, so that everybody knows, no matter where they are coming from or how they work or whatever cultural pieces they bring, that there is a clear goal and everybody is heading into the same direction. So I hope this overview gives you a great start for the assignment this week. And please shoot me emails with questions if there's something that you need clarity. And I look forward to a week of discussing this new dynamic of work. Thank you.